Hey guys, what's going on today? Today we have a new little version 1 of the Maxx here, and I'm going to be using it to show you guys how to replace the front arms, and then in a separate video we'll do the rear arms. So we're just going to get right into this. So let's turn this little guy around here. Go ahead and pull his body off. Hope you guys had a good Christmas, a good New Year's. Alright, so the first thing we want to do to go ahead and start getting the arms off the front is let's go ahead and remove the front bumper real quick. Today's tools will just need the typical, a 2, a 2.5. I do have a 1.5 just to push pins out, like I always say, and just sometimes use as a pointer for you guys. I got a magnet here. I also have a small pair of vice grips to pull out pins if needed, and I'm using my Dewalt, and on standby I have my Walmart Hypertough little drill. So with that tool, with those tools there, we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and start by pulling this bumper off. You're gonna need a 2.5 millimeter. So go ahead and get that ready. And we're going to need to remove 3 screws in total. So you're going to need to remove this screw here, and then you're going to have 2 right down inside here. 1 there and 1 right there. So let's go ahead and get those pulled out. Okay, now we have those 3 screws loose. We're going to go ahead and just pull this top screw right out of there. We'll take it out. And then those 2 can stay in there. You're going to need to take and push down on this skid plate just a little bit. Just push down on it and you can wiggle it right out of there just like that. Bumper comes right off. And usually what I do is I'll go ahead and put the screw back in there. That way you've got all 3 of your screws in there and there's no guessing on where those screws go. So lay that out of the way. Okay, now guys, let's go ahead and turn this over. Now we're going to remove those 4 screws right there. Also the 2.5, so let's get those out of there. Okay, we've got those 4 screws removed, and those are going to be tapered head screws. You see there? That's what they look like. Now this skid plate will lift right out of there. Pops right off. Alright, I'm going to turn it back over. Alright, now we need to remove this little retainer right here. There's a screw right in the center, and that's a 2.5. So as not to get in your way too much, I'm going to switch over to my Hypertough so I'm not right in front of the camera. So let's go ahead and back this screw right out. Okay, and then the screw that goes in there, it's going to be a little screw like that. It looks like a 4x12. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it back in there and set it over to the side. For now, this little brace I'm going to leave intact, or leave it on there. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull these front wheels off real fast, and for that we will need an 8 millimeter. Pull these wheels off real fast. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and remove some pins here to go ahead and start getting these arms ready to come off. So we're going to remove this pin right here, and then on the lower arm you're going to remove this pin right here. Okay, we've got our upper pin out. Alright, now we'll pull the lower pin out of there. Okay, wiggle it right out, and there's your lower pin. Now your lower one is going to be a little longer. Your lower one's on the left side, and you got your upper on the right. Okay, now let's go ahead and remove this little brace here, so it'll wiggle right off of there. Just like that there. And now your arms are about ready to come off. We do need to remove the lower shock screw right here. So that's going to be a 2 millimeter. So let's go ahead and pull that. Okay, we've got that out of there. Now let's go ahead and drop that shock out of there, and we can just let it hang there. So we're going to remove the last but not least pin from the upper A-arm, which is a 2.5 right here. Okay, and there's that one, and it's also a long pin. Now the arm's ready to come off. So your top arm will come right off of there. There's your top arm. And your lower arm, you're going to need to pull this lower pin out right here. You can almost grab it with your fingers. If it's a nice clean truck, it'll come right out just like that. So there's your lower pin. And now your arm will drop right out. So there you've got your lower arm and your upper arms, just like that there. If you broke an arm and you need to replace one, now you know how to take them off. It's not necessary to pull all this stuff off of here. Not if you're doing an arm. If you're doing a knuckle or you're doing a half shaft or an axle shaft, yeah, you're going to take them off. We'll cover that in the next video. I'm not going to show you how to do the left front arm. It's the exact same procedure. You're doing the exact same thing. The truck's just turned the other way. I don't want to bore you guys with all that. I am going to show you guys how to put it back together. You guys can take off, go you got your truck fixed, go play with your truck, or you can hang out and watch me put it back together. And I will step by step as it goes back together. So let's go ahead and slam it back together, shall we? Let's go ahead and start with the lower one. So lower arm, we're literally going to just put it right back in where it goes. And now your long pin is going to go, this long black pin, it's just a slide pin, it doesn't have any screws on it. You're going to need to put that in the lower arm. So you're going to slide it through there. Now this back side right here has to go inside that slot right there. You see that hole? Okay, so kind of lift all your stuff out of the way and get that started in there. And see, it'll just kind of hang there. Now, this pin over here walked out, so let's go ahead and try to get it back in. Okay, I believe that's all the way in there. Okay, so now we have that in. We're going to go ahead and go back with our little brace that we took off. It doesn't matter which way it goes. You can put it on either way. So line up one hole, line up the other hole. You have to wiggle your arms just a little bit. And then be sure that those little dowels on the lower bulkhead go back in where they need to go. There we go. You just have to move everything one way or the other. There it goes. I'm just going to give it a slight tap with my little vice grips here. Now you can see that those little plastic dowels, see there? See how they came in and they're flush? That's what you want. So now your arms are back in where they need to belong, where they need to be. At this point you can go ahead and put this little retainer back on. That's what it's for. It just holds that pin in. When you put them on, you see how you got slots right there? Those slots need to face down just so dirt can fall out. So this goes back on just like this here. And then that's your 2mm, or your 2.5 actually. So let's go ahead and run that back in there. If you do this after, then you just take a chance of bumping it and your pins can fall out and it's kind of annoying. Okay, nice and snug, not too tight, don't want to strip those out. So now you got your lower arms back in. So now let's go ahead and get our knuckle, our lower steering knuckle back in. So you're going to have 3 different pins: long, longer, and super long. Super long goes on the top. Show you where that one goes. The longer one, the middle longest, is going to go on the bottom. So let's go ahead and you're just going to take and line everything back up here, just like that there. And you can put your pin back in from the back side. Just kind of wiggle everything to get it back in. And then now you can run that pin right back in. That's it. Turn it into a stop, give it a little snug, and you're good to go. Top arm is going to go on just like this. It kind of hugs that shock. You see there? So let's go ahead and put that in place. You just want to line it up on top, just where it belongs. You see there? Now this is where your really long pin goes. It goes in from the front. So you're going to put this in like this. This bracket right here, kind of move around a little bit. You see there? Just get it where it belongs. Try not to bump it. See there, it's lined up. We'll take that out and then easily put that arm back in place and go ahead and slide your pin in there. Just like that there. And then we're going to go ahead and run that back in with our 2.5. Hang on to the arm if you want. Tighten up just a little bit. Now, you got that all good to go. Let's go ahead and get your outer steering knuckle upper screw back in. You got one pin left, so it must go there, right? This one's going to go in from the front of the truck. So just pick it up and you just simply line it back up. Push it into place. Take your 2.5. Tighten it back up. Okay. Now let's go ahead and get our shock back in place. We have our screw over here for our shock. It's going to be that screw right there. Then we take a look at your other side. See how your other one is on the inside most screw hole? So we're going to do that. And the same thing, we're going to put it in that screw hole there. So let's go ahead and get this hollow ball lined back up. Sometimes they can be a little bit of a pain to get in there. There it is. Support that lower arm so it doesn't fall back out. You may have to wiggle it around just a little bit. There, went right back in there. That's going to be a 2 millimeter. So chuck up your 2, get it ready, and let's run that baby home. Okay, that's it. Got the arms dialed back on. Everything is back exactly like it was. So now at this point, we can go ahead and put our tires back on. Alright, and be sure you get the tire back on the right side. Be sure the arrow faces forward. You see how you got this arrow right here? Be sure it faces the front of the truck. So this is going to go on this side right here. Be sure your little hex engages. You take your 8 millimeter, and if this nut runs on relatively easy, actually that one went right on there. If you've got some blue Loctite, go ahead and put you a little bit more blue Loctite on there, because you don't want these nuts to come loose. For obvious reasons, you don't want the tire to fall off, right? But what can happen too is it gets loose on there. And these wheels are just plastic, obviously. The drive hexes on here are plastic. You can get upgraded aluminum ones, which I recommend. But if it gets loose, the wheel starts wallering around on there and it strips them out. I've actually got to strip that one right here off my X-Max. And see, and it can also end up ruining the wheel, and then you're out of luck. So it's a good idea, if the nut screws on easily, go ahead and put you just a little bit more Loctite on there. See how I did there? Put it back on there and then run your nut on nice and snug. That's that one there. Let's get our left front one back on there. I'm going to go ahead, just because, put me another drop of Loctite on there. If you're interested in where to get this Loctite, this is a Permatex brand. You can get this at any automotive store. If you got a little hometown auto parts store, you can get it there. I've got one here in town called Anders, a privately owned store. He carries it. You can get it at O'Reilly Auto Parts. You can get it at Anders Auto Parts. You can get it at Walmart in the automotive section. It'll be a small bottle most likely, but you can get it there. So that's where you can pick that up. Okay, we got those tight. Let's go ahead and get our skid plate. So the skid plate goes right back on, just like this. You see this little tab right here? Well, it goes over that in that notch. You see there? So it goes in like this. See how it fits? Just like that there. And then we're going to take our 4 tapered screws and run those back in. Those are a 2.5 millimeter. I'm going to get my faster tool. I'm going to get my Dewalt and run those back in there. Not real tight, just run them in, get them snug. Just like that there, it's all we need. Originally bought this truck for a gift for someone. Also bought a Wide Max kit with it. Also got the Wide Max kit in red, and I was going to put it on there for him, but then some plans changed. If you guys want to see me put the Wide Max kit on, show you guys how to do it, happy to do it. I'll get that done for you guys. Just leave a comment down below. And honestly, by the time this video is uploaded, I may have already done a video. Check the Maxx playlist for anything pertaining to the little Maxx. Okay, we got our skid plate back on, guys. Let's go ahead and flip it over one more time. This little truck has flipped more times and it hasn't even been run yet. All right, time for the bumper. Let's get our bumper back on there. Okay, so we got 3 bolt holes. We got one here in this skid plate, and another one there. So we got 3 total in the shape of a triangle, right? Okay, so we got our bumper right here. And there's that triangle shape. So we're gonna just line everything back up. Now, this bolt has to come out now. I mean, you can take them all out if you want. You know where they go. So what you're gonna do is take this right here and slide it inside there. See, it goes inside that slot. So work your bottom in there. You're gonna have to push down that skid plate just a little bit for it to fall right back into place. You see how it went in? So let's go ahead and put our longer screw in there on the top, right in the center there in the shock towers. Okay, we got that one in, and now we just need to get those 2 more in right here. So I'm going to put those in real quick. Okay. There we go. We got it all buttoned up. Now you know how to change your front, upper, and lower arms on the Maxx. It is all back together. Go ahead and put his little body back on there, and boom, he's good to go. Hope you guys appreciate the video. Next video you're going to see is going to be doing the rear arms. Really similar, but may run into a few different things. So let's get that rear one done. Thanks, guys.